Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ruin Runners. This is episode 2 of my RP, the D&D inspired one. Joining us today, we have Stacy playing Paik, the Changeling Rogue.
Hello.
We have Mole playing Carden Falpel, the Half-Dwarf Hunter.
Hi, kids!
Nice. And we have Jim playing Phineas Umberdon, the Elf Librarian.
Greetings.
All right. So let's jump right into it. The first scene opens up with the group sitting inside the tavern from the previous week. They have all received a note that has requested them for a job.
I assume you all got the same note. He says, showing them the note.
I got one.
Indeed.
Looks like the band's back together.
It would appear so, although I don't see our half-dragon compatriot anywhere.
I don't. She might have just gone to cash in her reward from last time.
She said she was doing something about a horde or something.
Indeed, she's probably a bit busy with that.
A horde of what, I wonder?
Eh.
The door opens up and a skinny man with a hooded cloak comes in and walks up to their table. Hi. I am the one that sent you the note. I heard of your recent success with a previous job, and I wanted to hire you to retrieve a magic book from some ruins nearby.
A book? You don't say.
Yeah,
You can do it.
Oh, okay, good. It's job pays 150 gold, split up however you wish.
150 gold for a book. This could be the easiest job yet.
You're
Yeah, boy.
getting paid like 35 gold or something, like each, or something along that.
There are 3 of us here, so that'd be 50 gold each, if it's 150 gold in total.
Oh, my brain didn't go even work that far. That's why you're the nerd.
Quite.
Oh, good. Well, the book is it's as far as we have ascertained, it is in the farthest room in these ruins. There is probably something guarding it. We don't know what, and it's a a normal sized book. It is purple and has a magic seal drawn on the front of it. It should there shouldn't be any other ones like it around, so it should be fairly obvious if you get into the deepest part of the ruins.
Nice.
You know if these ruins are inhabited with people who would like to keep us out of it?
I don't think there's any people in there, but there may be, considering it's a magic book, there may be some of the magical enemies guarding it. I don't know for sure. We haven't been able to really get in there.
Okay. Sounds straightforward. Just lead us the way, or at least, give us an idea where to go.
Are you gonna be okay down there, boy? Okay. He says, stroking Krull, who's a good dog. This could be fun.
Indeed, it almost makes you wonder what type of book would be lost in ancient ruins like that. And for that matter, if the ruins are so ancient, if the book's the same age, hopefully it's still in one piece.
It's a magic book. There's probably some magic protecting it.
That is true. He did mention something that sounds not unlike a rune on the cover. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yes, these magical artifacts, they tend to live for very long times, as it were.
Very true.
Like you elves, it ages well.
I'll say, I don't really mind what's on there. This could be a fun adventure.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Here, I have a map to the ruins, and I will be awaiting your successful return and pay you upon successful completion.
Thanks, he says, taking the map. He then hands the map to the elf. Librarian, you're good at reading. Translate that.
Thank you. Phineas takes the map and begins looking over it. All right, this shouldn't be too bad. He uses one of his books to identify the landmarks on the map and determine where they should go, and the group set off.
Later, the team enters the ruins. They are in a foyer or foyer, whichever you prefer, just inside. In front of them sits large double doors.
Okay, what do you think we should do? You're a rogue, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your best way to go into this? Do you reckon you could probably pick those locks if it's locked?
Yes, but given that this is a ruins and it has something of value in it, I'd say look for traps, uneven cobblestones or walls, levers, things like that. Would be my first and most important advice here.
That's not bad. That's not bad advice, he says, pulling his knife out of his boot. He leans down and just scrapes it along the floor, reading the type of dirt in the area. Okay. We should be okay from poison. I'm not reading any of that in the dirt, but you're right, there could be booby traps.
Yeah.
Indeed, if the artifact was put here to be defended, it wouldn't surprise me if there were traps to prevent people from getting inside.
I don't think there's going to be nothing useful for me to change into because this place has no natural inhabitants, at least that I know of. So I'll just use my natural form.
Makes sense for the time being. We'll see if anything becomes of any other form would be of more use once we're inside.
Alright, and then shall I proceed? Keeping eyes open, mind the floors and such.
Let's do this. Boy, I might regret this just 'cause you're normally a good one, but here you go, he says, and he ties his dog outside. I can't risk you setting off a trap, boy. I'll be okay, I've got my stick. Kudunk, 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 he says as he begins to walk with the others leaning on his stick.
Indeed. Having him out here will also be an advantage, as if anyone tries to come in behind us, I'd imagine he'd give us a loud warning.
That too.
I don't see any particular traps on the floors and stuff. So they must have, I don't know, some kind of... They said the spellbook produces its own type of security, so I guess that's what they'll be using. I don't see anything else deliberately trying to keep us out.
Yep. Which, this could be either the easiest mission we do, or I don't know. I might have misread it, but go pick up a book, bring it back. It sounds simple, and it is. I kind of have a bad feeling.
The only thing is, if they didn't feel the need for traps and the demons, monsters, whatever, protecting the book must be that powerful. They don't need them.
Or it's an attempt to lull any ne'er-do-wells into a false sense of security, believing that retrieving such an object would be simple, only to spring a more complicated trap further in.
That's why I was saying I've got a bad feeling. Although, you could always set everything on fire again. That's always a hoot.
You don't want to do anything too unstable while we're in, this room. You don't want to collapse
Indeed,
it on
the
us.
book may be magically preserved, but I doubt the building is. Also, I'd like to remind you, I set nothing but the orcs on fire. Thank you very much.
I was using what you would refer to as the sarcasm.
Understood. I prefer to speak in the literal. Sarcasm has never been my strong suit.
Yeah, setting fires down here would probably be a bad thing, because based on these ruins and based on these old structures, the support beams are probably made out of wood. It could cause the whole thing to collapse.
Let's just totally open this door and pull the handle.
Just one more moment. Phineas closes his eyes, waving a hand in front of the door for a moment. Alright, I don't detect any magical traps either. We should be okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
The door opens into a hallway, which the group then goes through, and it comes out on a balcony with two staircases going down either side of it into a much larger room.
So far, so good, but I feel like the further in we get, the closer we are to danger. There has to be a trap. I mean, magical books, you don't just leave them on the bookshelf.
Traditionally, no. Be careful with these stairs. They're a common choice of booby trap that could slide us right down into an opening in the floor or something.
But which one do we go on?
That is a good question. One would have to assume they both go to the same place. The question is either safe?
They could not go to the same place.
Peering down the stairs, the group sees the floor at the bottom and three doors, one in front of a large double door in front of them, and off on either side of the room there's a small door. Piles of bones lay upon the floor at the bottom of the stairs.
That can't be a good sign.
Okay, Rogue, count the bones. Whichever one has the least amount will go that way.
The dude to the farthest right seems to have the most bones.
Least bony it is.
But like, maybe that's why, maybe they're supposed to be like going there, and that's where it is. That has the most defense.
I always find the ones with the most bones. That tends to be where people have died the most. So I'll trust your judgment, and we'll go the one with the least amount of bones.
All right.
Says as he begins to walk down the stairs with his stick.
As the three reach the bottom of the stairs, a small crack can be heard. All the bone piles start to rattle and form into several skeletons that all then in unison turn and look at the group.
We probably should have seen that coming.
If I shoot, do I have to shoot like in a skeleton directly in the bones with a crossbow to make it work, or is it if it just goes through them, it probably will just go through them?
I think we may have offended them because he says as he leans in close to the elf, they have a bone to pick with us.
Ha!
Clever. But I don't think now is the time for puns.
Okay, I'm gonna go straight headshots.
That could have been their weakness, you don't know.
Pulls back an arrow and launches one at the head of the skeleton.
The bolt smashes through the skeleton's skull, dropping the pile of bones to the floor.
Okay, I found their weakness. It's their heads.
One of the skeletons with a large two-handed sword picks it up and runs at Paik.
Ah! She does a back foot backwards. Tries to avoid the blow.
Throws his combat knife at the skeleton to try and knock it over and save Paik.
The knife hits the skeleton in his knee joint, and it topples over.
Alright, now get his head. Alright, I'll get his head. Pulls another arrow back.
You get his head, I'm getting my knife. Any spells there, librarian?
No, he's just gonna gawk and watch us be awesome.
He says as he retrieves his knife and puts it back inside his boot.
Fire another arrow at the head.
He pulls out his longbow and begins to take aim, readying it to fire.
Two more skeletons rush the group.
Ah.
As the other two have been speaking, the librarian behind them has pulled the book out of his bag. Skeletons shouldn't be too bad. He waves a hand as a large gust of wind kicks up, blowing the skeletons into the wall, and they clatter to the floor in pieces.
I had an idea.
I'm open to suggestions.
Can you? Okay. He loads up his bow with multiple arrows. Can you freeze my arrows?
I see no reason I couldn't.
And
You
freeze hers too.
Okay.
Very well.
Shoot the piles.
I was gonna say I'll shoot them in the head anyway, even if they're already down, because they might come back up.
Phineas flips to a different page in the same book, makes several gestures with his hand as a frost comes from his palm, freezing the arrows.
What? He fires them, watching as they hit the piles, freezing what they hit into. There you go. That'll stop them reforming.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot another one.
The pile's now frozen. The last two skeletons look at each other, and then look at the group and rush them.
Alright, rapid fire.
Stumbles, loading up his bow. Can't quite load it up fast enough as one of the skeletons is running towards him. So he grabs his walking stick and swings it like a club.
Nice.
Good shot.
Good environmental awareness.
That was all I could do. As he starts to rub his leg in pain.
The last remaining bones of the skeletons fall to the floor, once again lifeless. The room is strangely silent, as any skeletons that may be have been frozen in their piles. And the team again turns their attention to the double doors in front of them, or the door on either side of the room, the small doors.
Well, I do hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I believe our assumption regarding the bones indicating the saved door may have been mistaken.
Yep, it seems that way, he says as he leans down, looking at the skeleton. He picks up one of the skulls. Yep, we hardly knew he.
Ha!
He says as he tosses it back down to the floor. Someone doesn't want us going further.
Pig stabs the arrow in the skull anyway, just to make sure all the skulls have at least one hole in the head, so there's no chance of them coming back. Not gonna be stingy with the arrows and crossbolts.
You know, if you're trying to conserve ammunition, if you've already destroyed the skulls with an arrow, you could probably retrieve your arrows and use them again.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I do.
Very good, very good. Now, as for these doors...
I guess we should all each open one, since there's 3 of us and 3 doors. I mean...
I have an idea, he says, as he then shoves the librarian into the doors to see if they'll open.
Was that necessary?
A little bit.
I think you need to push them harder to get the doors open. Let's try again.
Okay, I'll grab his arms, you grab his feet, we'll use him like a battering ram.
Sounds good.
I'm joking, librarian. He says he kicks the door. Boom! Watches as it swings open. Oh god, that hurt. He says as he starts to rub his leg a bit.
You okay there? Do you need like a poultice or something?
I'll be fine. It's an old hunting accident. Wolf took a chunk out of me.
Well, the fact that you're still standing after that is clearly a testament to your fortitude.
Yep, he took a chunk out of me. I took the life out of him.
Just do be careful. I'm not sure if Peg and I could successfully carry you out of here if we had to.
It's okay, I got my stick. Come on, everyone. In the right door. He says, gesturing towards the right door he's kicked open.
The group heads to the right door.
As opposed to the wrong door.
Ah.
Inside, the room is dark and small and looks vaguely empty.
Wow, what a massive black.
You got a light spell, maybe?
Funny you should ask. He, he, he pulls out a book, waves his hand, and
How
the
can you
top
see
of...
the words on the book when it's freaking dark?
There's enough light streaming from the doorway that I can see at least the words in the book enough to do this.
Plus, to be fair, he's a librarian. Based on his bond with his books, he could probably read them with his eyes shut. When he feels them, it's sort of like a bond between him and his books
That's
themselves.
memorization, not actually reading.
No, it's more like a magical thing between the two. It's pretty special.
Indeed. At any rate, he waves his hand, and the top of the half dwarf's stick lights up like a light, lighting the room. Fortunately, that spell needs something to work on, and I don't have anything handy besides the book.
I will just say, he says as he puts out the stick, let's not set fire to my means of walking.
It wasn't fired, it was merely a magical source of light.
Now it's dark again.
It's not going to burn your stick. Give us a second to look around this time. He lights the spell again.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
If it had been a fire spell, I would have said if it had been a fire spell, I would have said fire spell.
You have a habit of burning things.
Only our enemies. Only our enemies.
That we know of.
With the light lit, the three look around the room.
In the corner is a bundle that eventually unfurls itself in a sinewy, hairy-looking creature that has hooks for hands and large bug eyes. It stares at the group and leaps at them.
Ah!
Look out!
Whoa, he says as he quickly falls to the side.
Pig readies her bow.
The creature, standing on two legs, looks over and starts swinging his hands at the librarian, trying to cut him with his hooks.
Pig fires a crossbow, trying to save the librarian.
Starts to pull his long bow with his arrow, steadying his breath. He fires it at the wrists of the creature to try and pin them together.
Pake's bolt hits the creature in the shoulder, momentarily stunning it, as the arrow from the longbow pierces through both of its arms. The creature screams in pain.
Metal
Let's try to
hooks.
put one between the eyes.
I have a better idea. Conserve your ammunition. I believe those hooks are metal. He waves a hand in the air, and a strike of lightning hits the hooks, electrocuting the monster through the metal.
Nice.
The monster screams while it writhes around in agony. It eventually stops as the room dims, the electricity dying. A fairly bad odor comes from the creature's corpse.
That is an unfortunate side effect of using the lightning spell. Sorry about that.
Oh, I thought Pig smelled bad.
Hey!
At any rate, I don't see a book in here, so I'd say that was one room down, two more to go.
Alright.
Yep.
Pig retrieves the crossbolts and hands the hunter his arrows.
We got this.
Back again in the main big room, there is the one door on the left, which is a small door, and the large, partially opened, heavy double doors in the center of the room.
Now, double doors for me say important, so it's probably there, but I am still curious what's in the left room.
Indeed, I'd like to say for the record that I will not be the battering ram for this door.
It's okay, I'll start checking out the leftmost room. Pig opens the door.
Okay, let's all go left.
Very well.
He says, ka-tunk, ka-tunk, as he's walking, leaning on his stick a bit more. His injury's starting to nag.
Inside the left door is another small room. Inside it sits a chest.
Alright, let's try to open this.
Hey, you could hide a book in that.
Yeah, you could.
It's entirely possible.
It's really heavy. You want to help me with this?
Indeed. Phineas goes over, grabbing onto the chest, helping Peg pull it open.
Here we go, he says as he jams his combat knife into the lock, turning it to open it while as they're pulling it. Old trick.
Clever.
The lid flies open, and inside is a small bar of gold.
Oh, sweet. Is this like a bonus?
It is if that fellow in the cloak doesn't find out about it.
Hey,
I
we
would
could
have to
just,
say who gets it.
we clearly just sell it and then split the gold from it, you know. That we get from it, and we just split it 3 ways. Oh wait, it's fair.
Yep, I could see that.
Alright.
It makes logical sense. If we could trade the ball for some coins, we can then split it evenly.
Yeah. So let's go back to the double door.
Wait, librarian,
Yes.
use your spell you used last time and make the bar hidden. And if possible, make it light and pop it in your bag.
A good idea. He performs the
Right.
2 spells quickly and places the bar into his bag of holding. Best not to weigh us down and not to lose it. We can split it up a bit later.
Yep, that way if we come across the guy in the cloak and he looks in your bag, he ain't gonna see shit.
The bag of holding, no, he will not, and he won't look in my bag anyway.
That's what they all say.
At any rate, apparently the double doors were the correct answer to begin with. I suppose I should have figured that. It didn't look like the most logical place.
It looks very important anyway.
Yeah,
Double doors typically do.
Yeah, but you never know what's in the side passages. If you go the way you're supposed to, you're never going to find little rewards, extra treasures, sometimes just some important notes that have been left behind that give you some sort of backstory to the place we happen to be in.
Very true.
Yes.
But yeah, Gudun, he says, pushing the librarian into the double doors.
Damn it!
You didn't say not into these doors.
The librarian
Not
hits the door and then slumps over. The door barely budges.
Ugh.
The heavy door.
No more doors from here on out.
Fair enough.
You put your back
Wait.
into it.
I have an idea. This is going to sound crazy. Your spell that you use, it doesn't get rid of its physical properties, just its visual properties. Cast your spell on the door so we can see what's inside before I burst in there.
Also, but that thing can see us.
Hey, we're gonna burst through the doors. They're gonna see us anyway. At least this way, we kind of know what to expect.
Okay.
If there's anything, they've probably already heard us. The door is slightly open, if I recall the narration correctly.
It was shaken, and I don't know what you mean by narration. Did I push you too hard? But no, what I mean, the door just shook slightly. It didn't even budge. But if you cast a spell, we can look inside. It could be an orc. It could be another bar of gold. Hell, it could even be our missing teammate.
It's possible if she got there first. Maybe she spoke to the gentleman earlier. Maybe
Just
she
cast the spell.
Very well. He steps back, waving his hand as the doors become transparent.
Through the transparent door, the team sees a hallway that leads to an arch and what appears to be some other room. Inside the hallway is a lone skeleton sitting on the floor, propped up against the wall. It is not moving.
Alright, I say, as soon as you open the doors, we instantly all shoot at that skeleton. Before it has a chance to summon more skeletons.
A wise idea given our experience out here. If it's not moving, it should only take 1 arrow to the skull. You should be able to hit it in one shot, Peg.
Alright. We have to get this door open, though.
Okay, but I would say let's make sure it moves before we hit it with the arrows. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a skeleton and someone's dead. We should be respectful.
Hey,
That
I'll
is
be
true.
respectful after I know that it's gonna die. And you know what? I'm protecting the respectfulness so that way it'll never actually become used for evil. So I'm actually more respecting it.
No, you're defiling it.
No, I'm protecting it from further defiling.
Bless the maker.
Alright, so any idea how we're gonna open this giant ass door?
As I was saying, if you had looked at the door, it's slightly open. We should only need to push the one that I was not shoved into.
Alright, it's still pretty heavy though. Quick
Alright,
starts pushing on the partially open door.
let me help you with that.
Yep. He says
With all-
he begins to push.
With all three people pushing the door, it slowly starts to open enough that they can get through.
Alright.
Alright, fire an arrow,
Yes.
not taking chances.
Phineas
Wait.
waves.
The head and shoots at the skeleton.
The arrow goes through the skull, and the skeleton pieces fall to the floor.
Nice.
Great, now we have no proof whether or not that was actually an evil skeleton.
Hey, now we know it's not gonna come after us, and that's better.
No. That's still not morally correct.
Hey, keeping me alive is morally correct.
I will agree to disagree. He says as he looks over at the skeleton mournfully.
Making their way through the hallway, the team comes to another room, much smaller than the last giant room. There are torches lining the walls.
Oh good, at least I won't need the light spell in here.
Librarian, burn. He says, pointing at the torches.
Indeed. He waves his hand and uses small balls of fire to light the torches around the room.
As he does so, from either side of the room come two skeletons decked out in full armor.
Huh, they've apparently upgraded it.
Yep.
Not looking forward to fighting it.
Librarian. And Rogue, I will say to you, always mind your surroundings and assess the situation. Think. In the last enemy we beat was because he used some sort of spell on the metal. If they're in armor, cast the same spell. And then you, Rogue, shoot.
Alright, you get rid of the armor, and I'll finish him off with arrows.
I won't get rid of the armor, but it'll definitely slow them down. I don't. That's. He waves his arm as the lightning strikes the metal armor-wearing skeletons.
It might
The
jerk you enough.
The skeletons begin to jitter around.
They're paralyzed. Take them down.
Pig starts cocking up a bolt and shooting.
He swings his stick as hard as he can at one of them, like a club, to the side of the head.
The head of the skeleton falls to the floor with a giant dent in the armor. The skull is cracked inside. The body falls to the floor in pieces. The
Yes,
arrow
well.
hits the other one, going through its eye hole and breaks the back of the skull.
Nice.
It then takes a
Good
few
stuff.
steps forward and then falls over into a pile on the floor.
I wonder if I can get, like, the
That's
roof of one's mouth.
Hmm.
If they have a roof of their mouth.
Poor skeletons. Because the question I'd want to know is, are these skeletons that were the troops of whoever's guarding this book, or these poor bastards used as basically cannon fodder against their will?
That's a good question. If someone did just summon random undead, that would indicate whoever placed this book here had great power.
Yep. Shall we continue?
Indeed.
At the end of this room is a doorway that leads into another small room. A pedestal can be seen.
I bet the book's on the pedestal, and then we're clear.
I wouldn't get my hopes up so quickly. If that's the room where the book is, then likely the strongest defenses will be within.
Yeah. I'm
Maybe I
excited.
just assumed we'd be dead by now and thought,
Like, you earned it. Here you go.
nope. That's unlikely.
That's very unlikely. Especially if whoever hid it here has the power to raise the dead. Who knows what else they could have enchanted in there.
Yep. Goddamn enchantments.
Okay, I'm gonna fire an arrow above the book just to see if, when anything comes anywhere near in contact with it, what kind of defenses it might have.
Certainly wouldn't hurt.
Alright, Pig fires the arrow slightly above where the book is being held on a pedestal. Assuming that the book is on the pedestal.
The bolt flies through the air, hits the wall, and clatters to the floor.
Well, that doesn't
Seems to
fit, does
be-
it? Yeah, there doesn't seem any magical fields or anything.
Congratulations, you slayed that wall.
Hey, I just want to make sure. I'm trying to be careful here.
I know. It's called the humor.
Haha.
Haha, I remember that. He says as he begins to walk forward. Okay, I'm the oldest here. I'll check out first, just in case. He says as he approaches and looks down at the pedestal.
On top of the pedestal sits a purple book with a magic sigil carved into the front of it.
Okay, I found the book. He
Before
says
you
as
grab
he
it,
pulls
let me
out
get
his
an arrow
combat knife. Pulls out his combat knife and uses his knife to slowly lift the book to see if there's a trap or anything underneath it. I don't see one.
As he moves up the book, there is no other noise.
Pig gets an arrow ready just in case.
Here we go. He grabs the book and throws it towards the librarian. Catch!
The librarian catches it, almost dropping it due to its weight. That's rather heavy. He waves a hand, shrinking the book to a smaller size and placing it in his bag. It's not resistant to basic magic anyway, that's good.
You shrunk the book? I guess it's the abridgment.
Ah.
I'm sorry, were you going to carry that heavy thing all the way out of here?
Nope.
No, you were supposed to.
My back's a little sore from carrying the team.
Oh, snap.
He
It's
says he
awful.
smirks towards the
looking.
librarian. No, you're right. Shrinking it makes sense.
Okay,
We can do this.
not dawdle out of here. Let's leave now.
Indeed, leave quickly before anything else shows up, hopefully.
Yep. Says as he turns and walks towards the exit with the others.
Fair warning. I don't know exactly what is in that book, but it had an evil feel to it, almost an aura. I'd like to get that thing out of my possession as soon as possible, and I don't say that about books often.
Evil aura. God damn it. It's always fucking evil magic.
I'm freaked out.
Unfortunately, the dark magic is rather prevalent.
Every village every village I've been to, I see sorcerers, dark sorcerers. Yeah. Too often.
Quite.
It starts to run even faster towards the exit because dark magic super freaks her out. Come on, you guys. We should go as fast as possible.
As the team comes into the
fast as possible.
You have to remember, our friend can only move so fast with a walking stick.
As the team comes into the room where they fought the two skeletons, in the doorway, the shadow coalesces to make a large panther-looking creature with two tentacles coming out of its back. It stares at them with white glowing eyes.
What the?
That's not
frickety
good.
freak.
Oh dear.
Are you an octopus or a cat?
Pig, do you wanna go pet the cat?
No! She cocks an arrow and fires it.
Try dangling string.
The creature seems to melt to the side as the arrow whizzes by. It then looks at Paik and lashes out with one of the tentacles toward her.
Ah! Okay, that didn't work out.
Fires his bow at the tentacle the best he can. It's a little sloppy as he hasn't quite steadied due to the emergency situation.
The arrow whizzes by the tentacle. The creature then looks and appears to sink into the floor. Then from behind him, a tentacle comes out at the hunter.
Ugh, he says as he stumbles backwards onto the floor, reaching to his pocket, hoping to get his combat knife. Librarian, cast a spell. It's liquid, freeze it or something, or electrocute it, do something.
Stop
It's
it
not-
from running into the wall.
It's not liquid. It's manipulating the shadows. I
Then
want-
light
Of course.
it up, light it up.
He waves his hand, casting the light almost directly under the creature, again from the tip of the half-dwarf's walking stick.
You fool, a greater light will be a greater shadow. There should be no light at all, and then there could be no shadow.
It could go either way. These creatures, it's hard to tell.
Yep, if there's no light, it's one giant mass of black. It's like a super shadow.
Or not at all. Shall see, I guess.
As the light erupts from the staff, the creature closes its eyes and appears to shrink back as its size diminishes.
Okay, you're right.
We made the right call.
It's okay, Peg. It could have gone either way.
This magic, man, it's
But-
gotta end.
It's weak and it's shrinking. Shoot it.
He cocks another
Finish.
arrow, shoots it at the head.
As Pake's arrow flies by, Phineas waves his hand and a light erupts from the tip as it hits the creature.
Carpel begins to struggle, trying to get back to his feet with his stick.
Peek runs to help the hunter.
I'm okay. Make sure it's dead. He says as he struggles, still getting up.
The magically imbued bolt flies through the air and hits the shadow beast in the head. The creature then stumbles about while the tentacles flail wildly.
Look out!
I'll try to get another bolt, at least a pin, maybe pin the tentacles to the wall. Peek fires another arrow, hoping to hit the tentacles into the wall.
You can do it. He says.
The bolt hits the tentacle, which then goes limp. The creature, still screaming in pain, takes a few steps forward and collapses on the ground and appears to melt into the shadows.
Whoa, that was pretty freaky.
Indeed. This was it was one of the more logical types of the creatures that the shadows are weakened by the light. I particularly despise the other kind. It goes directly against your instincts.
Personally, I'm not a fan of any type of shadow. Any that tries to kill us, at least.
Indeed. At any rate, as Peg said, we'd best get out of here as quickly as we can before anything else shows up.
Yup.
Alright, come on, let's go, let's go.
The group leaves through the ruins and then later returns back to the tavern to meet their mysterious benefactor.
After I totally unchained my dog.
Yes, all four of you.
Yay!
Well, we succeeded in that task.
Then we got a bonus.
Shh.
Back in the tavern, the group sees the man sitting at the table in the corner. He perks right up at seeing them enter and waves them over.
Greetings. Phineas reaches into his bag, pulls out the book, and returns it to full size, laying it on the table. I believe this is what you were looking for.
Oh, yes. The man throws a cloth over it and puts it in his bag. I don't want too many people seeing that. Sorry about that. But yes, that was it. he said and pats his bag, looking around to make sure nobody saw him do that. And so, thank you very much once again. Your reputation precedes you. The man reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small bag and puts it on the table. There's your 150 gold pieces, as agreed.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Excellent.
He says as he takes his 50.
Pig takes her 50 and whispers over to the others. So, you think he's gonna do evil magic things with that book that's clearly imbued with evil? I mean, this isn't gonna, like, hopefully, like, I don't want to see, like, next week, village burns down with evil book that possesses him and does evil stuff, and, the world ends because we stole a book for a guy who later turned out to be super evil or something.
Honestly, if you have a problem with it that much, give him back your coin instead of being hypocritical about it, and tell him you're worried he's going to do unspeakable evils. Let's see what happens.
I have a mortgage to pay.
Okay, then in that case, let's take our money, and yeah, there might be some evil to come from this, but that's true of any decision we make.
Okay.
Phineas takes his share of the coin. Indeed, we cannot presume to know the intentions of others. The best we can do is react as things occur.
I just hate to see if my house was, like, burned down next week because of an evil book, and the only reason I took this job in the first place was to pay it off. That would just be, like, ironic and cruel.
Our friend here does make a point, though. If you're afraid your house is going to be burned down by evil next week, then do you really need to take the 50 coins?
Yeah, because you'd stop it. If you were that concerned, you'd stop him now. My thought with this is it's probably going to be something that might come back to possibly bite us in the future, but we're trying to survive here, and not everyone who hires us is going to be good. I mean, hell, we've all done stuff in our lifetimes that aren't perfect, so...
You know what I need to do? I need to have our freaking elf friend come over and put some magic-resistant roofing on it. Or at least enchant it to be fireproof.
Yeah, that was the point. He says as he grabs his coins and his stick and begins to walk away with his dog.
Don't worry, I'll totally pay you that one food.
I would appreciate it. And just for the record, if there's problems with fire in your village, once again, that was not me.
Oh, absolutely. You're gonna do the opposite. You're gonna make my house not, be fire resistant.
I bet it was him.
I should be able to find a resistant spell. I'll do what I can.
Yeah.
The cloaked man looks at them quizzically as they whisper among themselves. Oh, okay, well, thank you very much again, he says as he starts to head out the door. I will, if I need your services again, I know who to hire, he says and slips out the door of the tavern.
Thank you, Cardan says as the man passes him. He looks down at his dog. Let's see where this takes us. This could be the start of a beautiful adventure.
Indeed it could.
And there you go. That is episode 2.
Sweet swimming.
Woo!
Hey, so thank you for joining us for episode 2 of Ruin Runners, and come back next week. Oh, you're very welcome.
Indeed.
Yay.
So next week, come on back for episode 3 and see what the group is up to then. Thank you
Oh,
very
yeah.
much, and good night.